Hey, welcome back to Empower Your Presentations. This is session 6, Weather the Storm. This is handling objections. Hey, the fact is, they're gonna happen. So let's just get into it. Understand they're gonna happen. The reason we need to weather the storm is we're going to talk about handling objections. Sometimes they're just part of the game. Sometimes it's just a simple request for more information. So again, if you frame it in your own mind that objections are going to happen, then when they happen, you don't get upset. There's nothing to get upset about because they're natural. It's going to happen. Sometimes it's part of the game. Sometimes it's a request for more information. Great presenters expect and welcome objections. Just that simple. In many cases, you're simply getting closer to a yes, and the prospect wants to slow you down a little bit. So, this is their way of throwing a speed bump in the middle of the road because you're doing such a great job presenting. You've learned so much through this course and through everything else that you've done throughout your career that all of a sudden you're like, oh, this person's pretty dang good at this. We're going to slow them down. We're going to throw an objection at them we're going to see how they handle this. Well, the reality is pros handle it with ease because pros understand that it's all part of it. It's the inexperienced or underprepared that feel pressure. And unfortunately, far too often they start making concessions. And concessions means typically price reductions, which means margin reductions, which means commission reductions, which means no profit, which means no business. So just go in with the fact there are no concessions. No, can't get you a price break. We don't have price breaks. We don't do this. We don't do that. How do you do it? Is you come and stay strong. You be confident and you support your position. Now, Scott, are you saying it's easy to do? I didn't say it was easy to do. With the organization that we grew from 8 million to 100 million in 5.5 years, we had a rule. If anybody cut price, they lost their job. You know what? We never had anybody cut price. Now, that's a pretty dramatic policy. I get it. But the fact is, if that's in the back of your mind that it's not even a possibility, you simply handled the objections when it come out. So how do you handle them? Well, you listen carefully and then compose and respond. You don't start going through the Rolodex of answers in your brain and going, okay, I'm ready for this one. I'm going to give this. Not the way it works. Listen first, then compose and respond to it. So it's just a much better way to do. Most knowledgeable with the best delivery is usually gaining or regains control. So it's the person who has the most knowledge overall. And again, I'll mention this here that knowing your own product is wonderful, but it doesn't necessarily gain your respect. And the reason is simple because everybody should expect you to know your own product. What they don't expect you to know is everybody else's. So if you become tremendously knowledgeable and you have the skill set to be able to deliver calmly, you usually either gain or regain control of the situation and you're off and running. So again, objections, they're not that big a deal. They just aren't. And the more you prepare yourself, the more you're ready for them. Now, here's 7 objections that you'll likely hear. First one is, will what you're presenting do all you said it would do? Now, this comes in a variety of different forms. All 7 of these come in a variety of different forms, but I think you get the idea. That's why I want to present them to you this way. Will what you are presenting do all you said it would do? In other words, are you telling me the truth? Will it allow me to jump over a small building in a single bound? I mean, that's what you're telling me this hyped up coffee will do for me. You need to make sure that it will do that. And, you say you drink this cup of coffee, you can jump over a small building. Somebody's going to ask, are you sure it can actually do that? They've got a right to ask that. Next is, have we negotiated the best possible deal? So again, that comes down to price. It comes down to a thing. The answer is easy. Yep, we got one price. Have we negotiated the best possible deal? You did an amazing job. We got one price. I recently leased a new vehicle. Oh my goodness. They create their own issues. It's so ridiculous. Well, what can you do here? Well, it can be this. That doesn't work. Well, let me see what I can do. Okay, we can do better. Well, that still doesn't work. I told you what it needed to be. Well, let me see if I can get there. Okay, here's how we can get there. Why didn't you start with that? It's so crazy. People create their own problems. They create their own objections. It's ridiculous. Next one. Is this a good decision on our part? They just want some confirmation. They want to know that other people have made this decision too. But that's an objection you'll hear. Do we really need this right now? Is this really a good idea? How about, is this something we really need right now? Could we put it off? I actually did this with an entire air conditioning system for the house yesterday. Can we put in some R22 and can we bring it up to snuff, and can we do that? Or do we have to replace the entire unit? Well, you'd be better off replacing the entire new unit. What? New units are better than old units? Gosh, I would have never thought that. That wasn't the question I asked. Is it in good enough shape to make it through a Texas summer? Yeah, we'll make sure that works. That's all I wanted to hear. Did a great job. Were we pushed into this decision? People don't like being coerced. Again, if you follow me in selling psychology and sales style, you'll find, as a sales professional since I was 18 years old, that it has never changed. I come from the place that I don't ever want to sell you anything, but I always want you to buy a lot from me. Therefore, it's my responsibility to create an environment where you want what I have to offer. So therefore, were we pushed into this decision? How can you be pushed into this decision if you made it yourself? You can't be. That's why I don't get this objection. Create the environment for them to want what you have. You won't have some of these objections, or most of them, quite frankly. Will there be other costs involved? I mean, that's a horrendous one, right? Okay, it's only this. Well, I thought it was only this. Well, yeah, then it was this and this. Well, how about, or how long will this system last? Am I making decisions going to last me for an extended period of time? So these are typically the ones that, you'll hear some kind of function of these along the way. So you might as well prep for them. You now have them. Now understand in your situation what these mean. What are they really asking? Well, number one, they're making a request for additional information. In other words, what they're saying is, you haven't given me enough information to satisfy my curiosity and know if this is a good decision for me. Give me more. So that's what one objection is. How about that they're interested, but they don't want to be pushovers? I'm going to, ask you a question. Yeah, I'm pretty good, but I don't want to make it like I'm a lay down or anything. How about they're interested, but they're truly unclear what's in it for them? It always comes down to what's in it for them. So if they're unclear of what's in it for them, they are not buying, and they are probably creating some objections. They're causing some trauma. They're somewhat interested, could be swayed with more information. They're kind of on the fence. What do you got that'll help me get there? And then, now that you know all that, I want to talk on another thing, and I call it, don't get caught in telemarketer mode and start sales yelling. What do I mean by sales yelling? So you've given them a sound presentation. You've asked them to buy. They've made some type of objection. And so what you do is you repeat the exact same thing you just said to them. You just say it louder. They're not deaf. They heard it the first time. And oh, by the way, it didn't work the first time. So why are you saying it again? Repeating what you've already said is not the way to do it. Why? Because it's like sales yelling. It'd be like going into a foreign country and ordering off their menu. And when they don't understand what you said because you didn't pronounce it right, you just say the same bad thing louder. It didn't help the language barrier. That's what we have so beautifully here with this being able to be translated into so many languages. They know why they're not taking action. So ask them. I touched on this earlier in one of the other sessions, but the reality is the person you're talking to knows why they're not taking action. So what do you ask? Very complex question. You ready? What's holding you back? What's holding you back? That's it. It's no more complex than that because they know what that answer is. And I train teams to utilize the AIR approach. Now, what's AIR? AIR is acknowledge the objection, isolate the objection, and re-question their question. So let me give you a quick example of that. So are you ready to take action? No, it seems a little pricey for us. A price objection, a money objection, acknowledging the objection. Oh, I can appreciate that. Sidebar here. Notice I said the word I can appreciate that. I did not say I can understand. Why can you not understand? Two reasons. Number one, it could be determined to be confrontational. And you don't want confrontation at this point in the process. And the second thing is you haven't walked a mile in their shoes. More than likely, you truly cannot understand. So stay away from the word understand. Use the word appreciate. 100% of the time, you can say, I can appreciate your situation. I can appreciate your concern about money. You're acknowledging the objection. Okay. Isolate the objection. Is money your only concern? Why would I want to isolate the objection? Because I want to know what I'm up against here. If they say, if I isolate and say, is money your only concern? No, I'd like to talk to my wife too. Okay, between the money and your wife, is there anything else? Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to attend those dates. So now you've got a date objection, a spouse objection, and a money objection because you went through the isolation process. If you didn't know that, you would have handled one and then all of a sudden the other two would have popped up. Now, out of date, spouse, money, which one do you handle first? You always address money. Why? Because if they don't have money, none of the rest of the transaction happens anyway. Doesn't matter what conversation they have with their wife if they don't have money. Doesn't matter if he can make the dates or not if they don't have money. If they don't have money, they can't make the purchase. So that's why you isolate, acknowledge. I can appreciate it's the money. Is the money your only concern? Yep, it's just the money. Here's the re-question their question. What is it about the money that's of concern? Now, why am I doing this pregnant pause? Because most people go, wow, nobody's ever done that. They just start sales yelling at me. I said, I get it. But this is why we closed so many more deals and we were so much more successful. We didn't sales yell at people. We simply said, what is it about the money that's of concern? See, many times they say something and it's not the real answer. And so it runs them out of the real answer. And you'll finally get to the real answer. Now, we had a guy one day back of the room, our product was $3,995. And he said, man, I really want this product, but it's a money issue. Said, oh, I can appreciate that. What is it about the money? Is the money your only concern? Yeah, the money's my only concern. What is it about the money that's of concern? He says, I only have 39 $100 bills with me. I don't have the other $95. He said, well, we can appreciate that. Do you have a credit card? He goes, yeah. I said, can you put the $95 on a credit card? He goes, sure. No longer a challenge. He bought. But see, if we tried to fight him on the money or what we thought the money problem was, we might have blown the deal. But instead, we worked with him by understanding what he meant when it was about the money. Make sense? I mean, this is a great, great approach. I mean, we could role play this for hours. Well, I used to. Used to be a lot of fun. Remember, objections are going to happen, so don't get upset or flustered. They're not personal attacks. Nobody's sitting here going, oh my God, I can't believe you're asking me to buy. They came to buy from you, so they're not attacking you. Preparation meets opportunity. I mean, that's the way it is. Defeat the objection and win the deal. I used to love objections because when I ran people out of objections, the next logical conclusion was the purchase. So again, don't be afraid of objections. Just address them. That's simple. And then the next piece, and this always comes up in handling objections, is reject rejection. Nobody can reject you. Rejection is an internal decision. It stems from an overdependence on other people's opinions, and it's an act of giving your control and power to somebody else. It just is, it's an internal decision that you've made. You made the rejection. Nobody else can reject you. It's an internal thing. Again, well, what's mom going to say if I do this? What's my wife going to say if I do this? You've given control over to other people. Eleanor Roosevelt said it this one: no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Confidence is key. Certainty. You make good decisions. You are a rock star, or you wouldn't be in this course right now. I know that to be true. You are striving to become better. That is awesome. I am certain of it. So are you. Confidence is key. Your offering improves their quality of life. Now, this is multiple times that I've talked about being a quality of life merchant, because that's what we all do. We improve the quality of another person's life. And as we do that, our life improves as well. It's not what anyone else says to you that counts. It's what you say to you after they stop talking. If somebody said, Scott, you've got green hair. Oh, I've got green hair. Oh, it's not what they said. It's that all of a sudden I feel sorry for myself because I got green hair. Or if I don't have green hair, I say, hey, they're just picking on me because I've got good self-esteem and I'm a international speaker trainer and they know I can take it. So it's not what anybody else ever says to you that counts. They can't reject you. It's what you say to you after they stop talking. You're the only one that can reject you. So please stop it. Don't do that. And then you're going to come up to this someday. And that is SW, 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 SWN. There are going to be some tough people to deal with out in society today. So understand deep down in your soul, SW, 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 SWN. What does that stand for? Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. Next. There's 8.5 billion people on this planet, for goodness sakes. You don't have to worry about the one that's standing in front of you. I truly believe God's plan and timing is perfect. And when you combine that all things work together for my good, it equals total peace. Do I want somebody to take advantage of something? Absolutely. Do I want you to get more of my products and do more of my things with me? Yes, for your good, not for mine. But God's plan and timing is perfect. All things work together for my good. It allows me to be at peace, to know I deliver the very best that I possibly can, and it either gets accepted or it doesn't. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting next. Objections are nothing more than a request for additional information. They're not that big a deal. And answering the objection professionally moves you closer, one step closer, to finalizing the deal. That's the way this works. Dr. Jim Parker, I used to love this. I love this quote. Success is predetermined by your faith, confidence, and belief in your products, goods, and services. Success is predetermined by your faith, confidence, and belief in your products, goods, and services. Man, what wisdom. So there we are. We made it through Weather the Storm. Our next session, we're going to talk about how to engage the sale. It's time for closing or securing the agreement. That's right. We're going to secure more relationships. We're going to start some long-term customers. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're having fun. I am. And know that I'm always here for you. God bless. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you again soon. Take care.